gentlemen, we introduce you to Mark Boughton, the outgoing mayor, who's going to be Connecticut's tax man.
Yes.
Morning.
Hey, Mark.
Spider faces.
Look at you. Look at us.
This is the guy right here who's going to be handling the money of Connecticut.
Right.
Billions, trillions, billions.
That's right.
But enough about that.
Yeah.
I had a tough time with algebra, but anyways.
Oh, good.
Well, you were known for
you never need that anyways.
No.
you were known for your budgets, though. You were a budget wizard. That's got to be why he brought you in.
Right. There's a bunch of those people that can figure all that out.
So, what is it like for the first time in nearly 20 years? You're no longer the mayor of Danbury. How's that feel?
I don't think it's really sunk in yet, but it's weird. But I keep, I'm like running to my car, wanting to race out in the middle of the storm, and I usually do that stuff. But you got to let go, So I think during the COVID crisis, it actually makes it a little easier in that sense because you're not going in the office every day. I mean, I was, but the staff wasn't around that much. So, but it's hard.
I'll bet
we're live at 5, and
I'll bet the COVID thing makes it easier because you tend to handle things pretty well and keep a positive, fun spirit about things. But you went from doing a job that you love, which is running the city of Danbury, and also being fun about it, to having this be the central focus of your day, pretty much every day since April, right?
Absolutely. That's all you do, talk about, think about, and that's not that has nothing to do why I move on. I'm moving on because this is already an election year for me, and so I have to make a decision: am I going to run again or not? So not to rehash all that, but yeah, that it just consumed the entire year. I mean, when you really think about it, we got stuff done. We kept the wheels turning on a lot of projects, but it could have been such a breakout year for the city, and I think COVID, and that's true everywhere, though. We're not alone in that. Just really muffled a lot of things we were working on.
I have an answer to this question. I want to answer after you, and I want Ethan to answer as well. In our time together doing these segments over the years, what was maybe your favorite segment or something we did away from the studio, away from the air?
I think the favorite thing I did was your wedding, just because you broke down like such a wimp. I was shocked to see that. I know how much you love Erica, and she is deserving of your love because she's a great woman. But it just was, I just never saw you that way, all right. Emotional and wimpy. And then that was that was an interesting morning. And then I think I dined out with you one night with you two, didn't we? When we were still doing the can drive from the top weird places.
No, that wasn't me. That was the other guy. But thanks for remembering.
Yeah, no. I thought Ethan was there, but
Ethan
so
was
that. And then of course, the only other thing I have to say is, the 2018 fundraiser when I thought you were just going to rock it, and it was a complete bomb. And I just said, "What is wrong with him?" And he just sat in the corner like a mope.
Unbelievable. Every time.
But other than that, it was good. Ethan, Ethan is somebody you carry with you for your whole life. I mean. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, everybody, we all listened to Ethan when we were, in our teens and our 20s, and he's just part of the fabric of who we are as people.
Do you have a favorite E?
Of what?
Mine is a lot of fun.
Really?
Yeah. Do you have a favorite?
No, I'm going with Mark on this one. The whole wedding. I wasn't there.
Right. You were on the air back
I was
here.
on the air, and I hate to admit this, but it brought tears to my eyes.
Yeah.
It really did.
Well, there was tears to go around, plenty to go around.
Right.
Erica didn't cry. I did.
Yeah.
And you jumping the gun on Uncle Sam. That was strange. That was weird. You were outside my apartment screaming. It was just weird.
That's part of mine. So best on-air one, I think, is when we boxed you into that massage parlor conversation, and we asked you about table baths and stuff. But this was the best because and can you refresh my memory? When we did the Uncle Sam thing, it was election season, right? You were running for re-election at that time, right?
Yeah, well, it's summertime, but yeah, sure.
So this is what happened. This is great. Mark was going to do the big unveiling ribbon cutting for the Uncle Sam statue that he and so many folks worked hard on to bring back to Danbury from the original city fair. They bought it back from this place in Lake George area. And I start claiming on the air prior to this that it was all me and I did it. And instead of letting you do your ribbon cutting ceremony, which I think was at like 2:00, I went down at like 7 or 8:00 in the morning, and I did a big speech and claimed that it was all me that got it there. And that's not the fun part of the story. Later in the week, there was a concert on the green, and we had a good week. I think you were on the show twice, and we did that nonsense and everything. So Mark and I are having a conversation on the green, and I said, this was really a good week for us, and he agreed, and we were kind of palling around. And I said, you know what, let me get a video of you. So I just take a quick selfie video of him and I talking, and he goes, yeah, this is what I said, because we were going to launch war. Remember I said we were going to launch war against the surrounding towns? I
was going to let Bethel pay for it. Go ahead.
So Mark goes, yeah, we're going to launch war against Bethel and Brookfield. He's like getting on board with the joke. And he goes, and we're going to build a wall, and we're going to make everybody pay for it. Well, the hell that he... It's the only time in the history of anything we ever posted that he called me and said, can you take that down, please? Because I'm getting a beating.
People were so triggered by that, and it was the height of the Trump, divisions, and I always thought, you got to make light of these things because then if you take them seriously, you give them power, right?
Right.
So we were in that mode, and we were just having fun, and I think both of us are highly, highly respective of the Latino community and Greater Danbury area. So it was just silly, but people got triggered. They really did, and it was, of course, it wasn't any of our friends. It was
right.
Just oddball people that were like from, I live in Reading, Connecticut, and I'm outraged, and I'm like, stop, please.
Exactly. Come on.
So I this in general is sad because it's really, we can't do this way anymore. And you mentioned this in our interview earlier in the week. You're going to be working for the governor, so you're not going to be talking at a school about him when I'm going to want to talk about state issues. There's certain things you can't talk about in terms of the finances behind the scenes. And you don't want to be critical of Joe, who's taken over for you, Joe Cavo in Danbury, or anybody who takes that office. So you don't really want to talk about Danbury. So your new role on the show, when we do bring you on, will be to talk about national politics, which is great and fine, but we're not going to be able to do it as often or in the same way.
We can still have a little fun, can't we?
We could have fun.
Yeah.
No,
you can ask. I mean, look, I'm just, you know me, you can't get me to shut up anyway. So just ask whatever you want to ask. But you're right, it's not the same, and I'm not the mayor, so I want to be respectful to Joe or anybody who is the mayor and give them space to do what they need to do. And I always hated it when ex-mayors criticized me, and I would never criticize a future mayor. So just make your decision, do the best you can, and that's the end of it as far as I'm concerned.
There's an ex-mayor who hates my guts and has no problem telling everybody who will listen, and I don't know what I did to the guy. I didn't do anything to him. I think you said something, but it wasn't even that bad, and he's... He told
some people get hypersensitive. I'm not hypersensitive. You can, enjoy tearing me up to pieces.
I don't know if you heard any of our interview yesterday with Mr. Cavo, but man, he loves you.
Well, I paid him a lot of money.
Okay, that explains it.
He's a solid guy. He's a good guy. He'll be fine. He's as honest as he's the most honest person I've ever met, and he does so many things behind the scenes. For people, people don't realize this, but he takes care of a bunch of senior citizens and cuts their grass, does their laundry, helps them with their medications. I mean, just a good guy.
So now you launched this basically in the last year and a half. You got really kind of almost kind of famous nationally because you did the thing with John Oliver, and you started your own little entertainment network with Live at 5, and you talk to anybody who'd stick a microphone or camera in your face. Can we expect that you're going to try and continue any of your many entertainment outlets?
Well, this is the problem. As we talked about before, I am a Mustang. I am a bucking Bronco with a beat. So you can't control me. And so I did go over that with the governor's staff and said, look, I got to be my own person. I got to have a creative outlet. I'm not going to go into areas I shouldn't go into, but how am I not going to imitate The Office every day? How am I, I have to do the things I have to do. So they're I wouldn't say on board, but they're silently acquiescent. They're like, whatever, you get yourself in a jam, you're going to get fired, though. we're thinking about different outlets. Nobody's doing a podcast these days, so that's one area that's a whole new technology.
Yeah, I know.
Is this one of those deals? Let Boughton be Boughton.
Yeah, that's it. I told that to the governor. He just laughs. He just thinks that's the funniest thing. I go, you got to let me be a free bird, man. You try to shackle me, it's over.
Mark Boughton joining the show now. Outside of anything you've done with the Ethan and Lou show, in the grand scheme, all your years in office as the mayor of Danbury, was there a time, because you're no longer the mayor, you can speak on it, was there a time, an incident, an event that you wanted to speak your mind really bad and held back because you were the mayor? Is there something that comes to mind?
Oh, there's been many debates and discussions over the years where I just bit my tongue and walked away. And it's funny, I blew up on 3 constituents in 20 years. And by blew up, I mean just, got argumentative, where I'm just like, I'm done with you. You got to leave the office. So that's pretty good, I think, that I kept my cool for literally tens upon tens of thousands of interactions. But there's been plenty of times when I want to say something and I couldn't. And you just got to, what do they call it? Discretion is the better thing of valor, or whatever that saying is.
Yeah.
So I just kept my mouth shut. How about that?
What political rival over the years did you dislike the most?
I don't know. I don't know if I would call them. If I disliked them, I would say who gave me fits the most, or I thought was. There are people that are very talented, but, aren't on my page, right? So you're like, well, you'd walk away and go, well, that person's pretty smart, but I hate him. So, I think I'm going to tell you who was a very good, very underrated, and he became my chief of staff, was Dean Esposito. Dean ran against me in 2005. He did very well, really, really well for a shoestring campaign. And it's one thing that politicians don't understand, the really wonky ones. People voted that year on, who they liked. And Dean's a very likable guy. He's a good guy. And so he gave me fits. I mean, it was more work than I ever anticipated. So I didn't hate him. I hired him. And we're very, very close friends now. But certainly I respected the fact when it was all over what this guy did with, a couple of $1,000. So, it's everybody brings their own talent to the table. I don't hate anybody, but definitely there are people that can torture you.
You were so close to giving an interesting answer there.
I had to throw Dean under the bus. He's going to call me in 10 minutes.
Well, now you're friends with him and he's on your staff, so that's a safe answer. But I know what you wanted to say. I know how close you were just now. Unbelievable. That was close.
Well, here's the one thing I'm going to tell you. Here's the one thing I'm going to tell you. I always kept my word and will always keep my word in politics. Now, there have been times when I said, yeah, we're going to pave your road right away. And it didn't happen for 3 years, but it got done, right? So that's one thing I walk out proud of. And there's still pending projects, pending roads that got to get paved that haven't been paved yet, that I gave my word to the residents. And Joe's committed to it, and it will be done. So I'm it's a good way to walk out of office, is that, you didn't let anybody down.
Let me ask a question that I don't know if I can or should ask. You mentioned to me some behind the scenes, some projects, and I think COVID interfered. Is there anything with any of those that could be a reality still in the future?
Yes. One major employer we're working on right now, and Mayor Joe has me. I'm going to stick with them. I'm not being paid to do it. It's all free because I committed to this company that I would help them and get this done because it's good for Danbury. And so Mayor Joe has me doing that. So that's going to be a good employer for our city.
All right. Well, I think that's it because we're way out of time now. I know we could have done more.
All right, fine. Whatever.
We could have done more. Yeah,
I know. But let's chat in the future. Look for a video next week. I'm going to put up because I can't control myself of the of my new office. So you're going to like it. Nice. Little takeoff on D'Angelo Vickers.